guys, it is Vic, and I am back with a special kind of video. Thank you to everybody, first of all, who watched the ASMR special on Dr. Oz. I am so thankful that I had the opportunity to do something like that. So thank you for everybody. A wonderful viewer of mine posted the link to watch the video for those of you who didn't get to see it. So, thank you everybody for your support. And I'm really glad that you guys liked it. And as I said before, I read every single one of your comments. And the only reason why I can't really respond to a lot of them is because of this ridiculous Google Plus. So this is an unplanned video, and my husband actually just went to bed, and I'm having a hard time sleeping. So I'll probably talk more about the Dr. Oz thing in another video, but the reason why this video is so important for me to make is because this topic affects so many people. And I'm talking about anxiety. I'm putting myself out there and being a little bit vulnerable in this discussion because, like I said, it affects so many people. And when my viewers actually comment that, I'm helping them. Macy's chewing on her bone. I'm sorry, guys. When my viewers comment that I'm helping them or that they also suffer from anxiety, it makes me feel good to know that I'm helping, and it makes me feel even better to know that I'm not alone. So basically what this video is going to be is me discussing my anxiety and what kind of anxiety I have. And if you guys like it or you know how I feel and you suffer from it, please feel free to comment. And then if it's a hit, what I will do in another ASMR video is I will talk about maybe tips and relief and things of that nature to help with anxiety. Okay. Well, basically, I'm 31, and my first real panic attack was when I was 19. I actually have really bad anxiety right now making this video, which I'll get into in a little bit. So hopefully by me making this video while I'm kind of in the midst of anxiety will help anybody else who suffers from it to realize that you're not going to die, even though you probably feel impending amounts of doom, and that you're fine. And you probably can't even tell that I'm anxious right now, which I guess is a good sign. Sorry, I was taking a drink of my water. Okay, so my first panic attack was when I was 19, but I feel like I've kind of always had it, like it's always lingered in my life. It just came out as I was older. Okay, so there are all different types of anxiety. There's social anxiety, there's agoraphobia where people can't leave their house, there's all kinds of anxiety. My anxiety is generalized anxiety, with panic attacks here and there. And like I said, I'm being very vulnerable by putting this out there to all of you. But I also have very, very bad hypochondriasis health anxiety, which is odd because, knock on wood, I've always been very healthy. Now, let me explain this to you guys. first of all, for all the females watching, my anxiety, I've learned a lot of really great ways to control it with all natural supplements, different methods, reading books, listening to audios, all kinds of things, which again, I will share in another video. But with women, it's a lot different because women, you know, even the men watching this, it's no surprise. I'm sure you guys know how women's bodies work. Every month, we have a cycle. And for me, being a female, I've noticed that my anxiety worsens when my body, like any other woman, goes through that cycle. So my anxiety is under control, but when it's that monthly time, I'm trying to find an adult way to say it, even though I'm sure all of you are very mature, it worsens. So for those of you ladies out there watching, know that if you get that as well, it's probably just your hormones running rampant, and it will pass until the next month comes, and then you live in a week or so of hell. But so I have generalized anxiety, and I have severe health anxiety. Okay, so let me try and put this in a way that, you know, nobody will think that I'm weird or anything. When our bodies go through anxious episodes and panic, our cortisol levels shoot up, and our bodies immediately go into the flight or fight response, even though there's no danger. So for me, what happens is when there's nothing wrong outwardly, our bodies and our minds tend to shift inwardly. Meaning that if there's nothing wrong on the outside, say like there is no fight or flight and there's not a real tiger standing in front of you that you're ready to run from, your body then turns inward and it looks for little things to make you even more anxious. And then what happens is you go into the what if cycle. Well, what if something is really wrong with me? Well, what if I have cancer? I'm speaking about health anxiety, and these are some of the thoughts I get. What if my headache is a brain tumor? Oh gosh, what if that stomach ache is pancreatitis or liver disease? And what happens is, with health anxiety, you get all these crazy thoughts. Now, for me, I've actually been to the doctor and I've had umpteen, amounts of tests and blood work done. And my doctor has physically told me, Vicki, you are fine. You're a vision of health. There's nothing wrong. The problem is with people like me who are overanalyzers, that gives me reassurance for a little while. And then maybe like a month later, I find something else in my body that I think might be wrong. And like I said, I'm being very vulnerable, putting myself out there, telling all you guys about this. But the reason why I'm doing this is to let you know that if any of you have it, like how I do, you're not alone. I'm discovering new ways to, rectify this situation and help with this situation. A lot of it is we do it out of habit. I have lived this way for so long that it's a habit. It's a habitual way of thinking. Part of self-recovery and self-discovery is learning to interrupt your pattern, your negative pattern. We all walk around all day and we talk to ourselves and we what if and we what if and we what if. So I think the reason why anxiety is so bad for people who have health anxiety like me is because we're constantly talking to ourselves in a negative light. And like for me, here's one of my fears. One of my biggest health anxiety fears is like, I'm afraid that I'm going to get diabetes or that my blood sugar levels are all screwed up or that I have some form of cancer in my body that a doctor may have not detected. Now, consciously, I know that I'm healthy because I've been to the doctor. But on some subconscious level, my mind, I don't think registers that because I'm so busy being anxious. And it's kind of almost very disrupting to my life because there's certain things that I can and can't do. Like, for example, I have a radius to my house. So like when all of you saw me on the Dr. Oz show and you thought, oh my gosh, she doesn't have anxiety. She's calm. She's cool. She's together. Can I just tell you, it was hell to drive 8 hours to New York. I was panicking the whole way. I was sweating. I had heart palpitations. I mean, it was just awful. And it was a wonderful experience that I'm thankful for and I had fun with, but it was brutal. And it was really a test of my anxiety. So I try to look at the positive side of that and I say to myself, well, you lived and you're still here and you went outside of that radius close to your home and you're fine. Another thing is a lot of people who suffer from this like I do are afraid to openly discuss it because they're afraid that they might be judged or they think that they're weird. I mean, some of you might watch this video and I'm putting myself out there in hopes that nobody will think that I'm weird. It's really, anxiety is such a broad term because people can have all different kinds of anxiety. I do not have social anxiety. I do, however, if I'm in an anxious episode, like I can't go to a concert when I'm anxious. I hate going to the movies when I'm anxious. I don't even like going out to eat at a restaurant when I'm anxious. A lot of people who have anxiety feel very trapped when they're anxious. For me, standing in line at the bank makes me feel utterly trapped because it's like I filled out my deposit slip. I'm standing in line. I have 3 people behind me. And even though I'm even though I'm, that was the right word. Even though I'm outgoing and I can talk to people and I'm not shy, I worry about, oh my gosh, what if I have a panic attack when I'm in the bank and I lose control and I embarrass myself in front of people? And it's kind of silly for me now that I'm talking about it out loud, because when I'm in that moment, I feel like it's very real. I feel like all my what if thoughts and my worries are actually going to come true. A big, big fear that other people with anxiety have is they're afraid of losing control in public. Losing control of yourself. I promise you, those of you watching, it's not physically possible. And for me, a big fear of being anxious when I'm out in public, like I said, I'm actually having panic right now making this video. Like my heart's racing and I'm sweating and I have a really bad headache. But you guys listening wouldn't know that unless I told you that. So there's some proof right there that nobody knows you're anxious except for you. And it's a very common fear that when we're anxious, we may lose control. I know a lot of people have developed, if I'm going to be blunt, a lot of people in the world who suffer from anxiety can develop things like irritable bowel syndrome, which makes them very nervous to go out in public because if, they do have to use the restroom, they don't want to feel uncomfortable. They don't want to be standing in line at a grocery store and have their stomach get upset. For me, I get like the tremors when I get anxious. I get the shakes and my stomach hurts and I sweat and I get headaches. I feel like I'm suffocating. But the point of me telling you all this is that you're not alone. I suffer from it. It is a battle, but I like to look at it like the glass half full, that it's making me a stronger person. And, it's nothing to be ashamed of. I also want you guys to know, if you suffer from this, that, your fears that you have are not, they're legitimate fears, because, I'm not here to tell you it's all in your head, because when people tell me that, it drives me crazy. That's a big, big thing for me. When people say, oh, you're fine. Like whenever I get anxious, I lose my appetite. I physically can't eat. It's very hard for me. And, even my husband, he's a wonderful person and I love him dearly. But sometimes he'll say, oh, Vic, just eat your dinner. Why are you prancing around the house, pacing back and forth? Just sit down and eat. And I'm like, can't you see I'm going crazy? Even though I'm not. But in your own mind, that's how it feels. So the point of all this, I'm sorry, I've been rambling, is that you guys are not alone. I mean, I make these videos to relax you, but guess what? I'm exactly like you if you suffer from anxiety. I have it. I live it. I breathe it. I feel it. But it always passes. When you're in that moment of anxiousness, it feels like it's never going to end. And you're praying, please, someone just get me through to feeling normal again. I don't want to feel like I'm weird. I don't want to feel like I'm going to lose control if I'm in public. I don't want to feel like I have to miss out on doing fun things with my friends and family because I'm anxious. And you don't. You don't. You are as normal as can be. I like to think that our little group of people who are anxious, I like to look at it like we're all in a club together and we're just that much more sensitive, but that makes us that much more special. So I like to look at it in a positive light. And right now, where I live in my city, I am actually going to be starting I have to see if it pans out, but I'm thinking about starting a support group for anxiety at our local library, where we will meet twice a month and openly discuss anxiety and what a huge epidemic it is. And, that's really something that's important to me, because it's just like what I'm doing with you guys. I'm reaching out and I'm letting you know that you're not alone. So I encourage people who have it to, if you feel like you need to see a therapist, don't be ashamed. Don't be embarrassed. If you feel like you want to go to a support group, don't be embarrassed. Don't feel worried that people will judge you. If listening to ASMR videos helps you relax, I mean, hey, it's been a wonderful thing for me. It helps me sleep, and I've been able to help people for all the help I've been given. So basically, what I'm getting at with this ridiculous ramble is that you guys aren't alone. And if I'm helping you, it makes me feel good. But like I said, if you guys want to comment on this and you say, you know what, Beck, I know exactly how you feel and you're not alone and I feel the same way, that just reinforces that I'm paying it forward and we're all here to help each other. I try every day to be a very nice person and remain humble. And I try to look for new ways to, do my own self-therapy and self-discovery. And if you guys enjoyed this video and it was helpful at all, even though it was a ramble, I'm sorry, let me know in the comments. And maybe I'll do another video on anxiety tips and relief and ways that you can help yourself, and supplements to buy online that are all natural. I'm not encouraging anybody to go out and spend their money, but I was on medication and now I take all natural supplements and I love them. On a closing note, what I do want to say about anxiety is that aside from you guys not being alone, anxiety is a human emotion. So it's very important to remember that accepting it is possibly the first step in learning to live with it. It's never going to fully go away. And if you're relentlessly searching for a holy grail or something to fall out of the sky to just rid you of anxiety forever, that's, I think, going to make you more anxious. Part of my therapy is telling myself every day, you know what? You're only human. You have anxiety. It's not the end of the world, even though it feels like it is sometimes. And you're normal. You're normal, you're sane, you're not going crazy, you're not losing control. It's just anxiety. Anxiety has a way of, I think once we let go of the fear of anxiety, a lot of it diminishes, because fear is what fuels anxiety. And once you learn to not fear what you can't control, I think a lot of it kinds to melt away. Do you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of it kinds to it tends to just kind of melt away. And you're going to have things in your life happen that you can't control or that you don't plan for that are going to give you natural anxiety. But if you just keep it in the back of your mind that maybe we all have this because we're that much more special, I think that a lot of our fears, like I said, will kind of just fall away. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. It was just kind of a little, unplanned something just to give you guys hope and help and comfort. And, I want you to know that I have it. I suffer with it, but hopefully we can all get through it together and I can be of further assistance. And yeah, I know I keep promising I will make role plays soon, but another example, I've been so anxious lately. The last thing I've been wanting to do is get in front of a camera and have to hit stop and re-record 7 million times. And I work 2 jobs, so I'm also very exhausted. I just barely have any time for myself. It's like midnight on Saturday night, and this is like the first quiet time I've gotten in a long time. I just got home from my restaurant job a little while ago, and I'm just exhausted. So have a wonderful Easter, everybody, and I promise I'll be back with a face-to-face camera role play or relaxation video very soon. And remember, you are all normal, and it will pass. Happy Easter. Good night.